Brace yourselves. It's rejection story time. Guys, what's the worst way a girl handled your rejection? We've all been there. That sinking feeling in your stomach when you realize your affections aren't reciprocated. Ouch, right? But sometimes it's not the rejection itself that stings. It's the way it's delivered. Think back to those cringe-worthy moments when a simple no would have sufficed. Remember that soul-crushing instant when you realized you were on the receiving end of a rejection masterclass? Get ready to dive into the trenches of dating disasters. We're about to explore the worst ways girls have handled rejection, complete with real-life examples that will make you laugh, cry, and everything in between. Buckle up, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and prepare to be entertained. Because, let's face it, misery loves company, and sometimes the best way to deal with rejection is to laugh about it. Let's start with the granddaddy of bad rejection, public humiliation. It's the kind of rejection that leaves a lasting scar, one that you remember for years to come. Picture this: you finally mustered the courage to confess your feelings for your crush. Your heart is pounding, your palms are sweaty, but you push through the nerves. You pour your heart out, only to be met with laughter. Not just any laughter, but the kind that echoes in your ears long after it's over. Not just a chuckle, but a full-blown, room-silencing roar. It's the kind of laughter that makes you feel like the smallest person in the room. And to add insult to injury, she proceeds to recount your failed attempt at wooing her to her friends, who of course join in on the fun. They laugh, they point, and you feel your face turning redder by the second. Oh, the shame! It's like being doused in a bucket of ice water, except the water is replaced with pure, unadulterated embarrassment. You wish the ground would open up and swallow you whole. One guy, let's call him John, shared his story of confessing his feelings in a crowded school cafeteria, only to have his crush respond with a sarcastic, "Oh, that's cute." The words cut through him like a knife. "But you're like a little brother to me." The ultimate friend-zone line, delivered with a smile that felt like a slap. The entire cafeteria erupted, and poor John wished he could disappear into a black hole. The laughter seemed to go on forever, each second feeling like an eternity. Public shaming is the nuclear weapon of rejection. It's messy, devastating, and leaves behind a trail of emotional fallout. It's the kind of rejection that haunts you in your quiet moments. It's the kind of experience that makes you want to crawl into a hole and stay there forever. The memory lingers, a painful reminder of a moment you'd rather forget. Next up, we have the ever-popular ghosting. It's the modern-day equivalent of dodging phone calls and avoiding eye contact, but with a digital twist. Ghosting has become a common phenomenon in the age of instant messaging and social media. You're chatting with a girl, maybe you've even gone on a few dates, and things seem to be going well. The conversations are engaging and the chemistry feels right. Then, poof, she vanishes into thin air. No warning, no explanation, just gone. Her texts go unanswered, her social media presence turns to radio silence, and you're left wondering if you imagined the whole thing. You check your phone repeatedly, hoping for a message that never comes. It's like she was never there, leaving you with a head full of questions and a heart full of confusion. The sudden disappearance can be jarring and emotionally draining. One guy, let's call him Mark, shared his experience of being ghosted after a particularly promising first date. He thought they had a real connection. "We had a great time," he said. "We laughed, we talked for hours, I even walked her to her car. It felt like the beginning of something special." And then, nothing. I never heard from her again. No calls, no texts, just complete silence. The worst part? He saw on Instagram that she was still active, just not with him. She was posting stories, liking photos, but ignoring him completely. Ghosting is the ultimate act of emotional avoidance. It's a way to escape without facing the consequences of a conversation. It's a cowardly way of saying no without actually having to say it. Instead of communicating openly, the ghoster chooses silence, and it leaves the other person feeling confused, hurt, and a little bit crazy. The lack of closure can be one of the hardest parts to deal with. Mixed signals. They can be incredibly frustrating and confusing, the dating equivalent of trying to decipher hieroglyphics, leaving you feeling like you're solving an unsolvable puzzle. One minute she's all over you, texting you constantly, making plans and showering you with attention. It's like you're the center of her universe. The next minute she's distant, unresponsive, and colder than a polar bear's nose. It's as if you don't even exist. You're left feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster, clinging on for dear life as she throws you for loop after loop. The highs are exhilarating, but the lows are devastating. Take it from Tom, who found himself entangled in a web of mixed signals with a coworker. It started innocently enough. She'd flirt with me mercilessly at work, he shared. Her playful touches and laughter made it seem like she was genuinely interested. She'd touch my arm, laugh at my jokes, even invite me to hang out one-on-one. It felt like we were building something real. But the second I tried to make a move, she'd shut me down, saying she just wanted to be friends. It was a harsh reality check. The constant back and forth drove him crazy, leaving him feeling confused and emotionally drained. It was a never-ending cycle of hope and disappointment. Mixed signals are the ultimate form of emotional manipulation, whether intentional or not. They mess with your mind and heart. They keep you guessing, hoping, and ultimately hurting. The emotional toll can be overwhelming. It's like being stuck in a perpetual state of maybe. And let's be honest, maybe is just another word for no in disguise. It's a painful limbo that leaves you questioning everything.